The morning sun cast long shadows across the quiet hospital corridor, as William sat beside Kate's bed holding her hand gently. The room was filled with the soft beeping of machines and the gentle hum of air conditioning. Kate had been fighting her illness for months, but her spirit remained as bright as ever, even though her body had grown weak. William watched as Kate slept peacefully, her breathing steady but shallow. The doctors had told him earlier that morning that her condition was getting worse. The words echoed in his mind like a painful reminder of what was coming. He squeezed her hand softly, hoping she could feel his love even in her sleep. When Kate finally opened her eyes, she smiled at William with the same warmth that had captured his heart years ago. "Good morning, my love," she whispered, her voice barely audible but filled with tenderness. William leaned closer, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "How are you feeling today?" he asked. Though he already knew the answer from the tired look in her eyes, Kate had always been honest with him, and she wouldn't start lying now even to spare his feelings. "I'm tired, William. Very tired," she admitted, her fingers tracing patterns on his palm. "But I'm happy you're here with me. I don't want to face this alone." Her words were simple, but they carried the weight of their entire relationship. William felt his throat tighten with emotion. He had been preparing himself for this moment for weeks, but nothing could have made it easier. "You're not alone, Kate. You'll never be alone. I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere," he promised, his voice steady despite the storm of feelings inside him. The couple had been together for 15 years, married for 10. They had built a beautiful life together, filled with laughter, dreams, and plans for the future. Now those plans seemed so fragile, like autumn leaves about to fall. Kate looked around the room, taking in the flowers from friends and family, the cards covering every surface, and the photos William had brought from home. "Do you remember our first date?" she asked suddenly, a small smile playing on her lips. William's face lit up at the memory. "How could I forget? You wore that blue dress and we went to that little cafe downtown. You ordered the strangest combination of food I'd ever seen someone eat together." They both laughed softly, the sound filling the room with warmth. "And you were so nervous. You spilled coffee all over yourself," Kate added, her eyes twinkling with the memory. "I thought it was adorable. I knew right then that you were someone special." As the day progressed, friends and family came to visit. Each person brought their own memories and stories, filling the room with love and laughter. Kate listened to every story, smiled at every joke, and thanked everyone for coming, even though speaking was becoming more difficult for her. When evening came and the last visitor had left, William and Kate were alone again. The room felt different now, quieter and more intimate. Kate had grown more tired throughout the day, but she seemed determined to stay awake and talk with William. "I need to tell you something," Kate said, her voice serious but calm. "I'm not afraid of what's coming. I've had such a wonderful life, especially these years with you. I just want to make sure you know how much you've meant to me." William felt tears starting to form in his eyes, but he held them back. Kate needed him to be strong right now. "Kate, you don't need to—" "Yes, I do," she interrupted gently. "I need you to know that loving you has been the greatest joy of my life. You've made me happier than I ever thought possible. Even now, even with everything that's happening, I feel so grateful for what we've had." The night settled around them like a soft blanket, and Kate's breathing became more labored. William adjusted her pillows and made sure she was comfortable, then settled back into his chair beside her bed. He wanted to memorize every detail of this moment, every expression on her face, every word she spoke. As Kate drifted in and out of sleep, William kept watch over her, holding her hand and whispering words of love and comfort. He told her about their plans for the garden they had wanted to plant together, about the trip they had dreamed of taking to Italy, about all the small and big dreams they had shared. The hospital grew quiet around them as the night deepened. Nurses checked on them occasionally, their footsteps soft in the hallway. William realized that this might be one of their last nights together, and he wanted to make every moment count. He pulled his chair closer to Kate's bed and rested his head near her hand, listening to the rhythm of her breathing and feeling grateful for every breath she took. The next morning brought a different feeling to the hospital room. Kate woke up feeling weaker than the day before, but her mind was clear and focused. She had something important she wanted to do, something she had been thinking about for weeks. "William," she called softly when she saw him stirring in the chair beside her bed. He had spent the entire night there, keeping watch over her like a guardian angel. "I have a favor to ask you." William sat up immediately, stretching his stiff muscles from sleeping in the uncomfortable chair. "Anything, Kate? What do you need?" Kate smiled at his eagerness to help her, even now when she could give him so little in return. "I want to write some letters to the people I love, including you. But my hands shake too much now. Would you help me write them?" The request touched William's heart deeply. Even facing her final days, Kate was thinking about others, wanting to leave them with something meaningful. "Of course I'll help you. Who do you want to write to first?" "My sister Emma," Kate replied without hesitation. "She's been so worried about me, but she tries to hide it. I want her to know that it's okay to be sad, but I also want her to remember to be happy." William found a notebook and pen from Kate's bedside table and pulled his chair closer to her bed. "Okay, I'm ready. Tell me what you want to say." Kate closed her eyes for a moment, gathering her thoughts. Then she began to speak, her words flowing like a gentle stream. "Dear Emma, by the time you read this, I'll be gone, but I want you to know that I'm at peace. You've been the best sister anyone could ask for. Remember when we were little and used to build those terrible sandcastles at the beach? They never looked like the ones in the magazines, but we had so much fun making them." William wrote carefully, making sure to capture every word exactly as Kate spoke them. He could see the love and care in every sentence, the way Kate chose her words to bring comfort rather than sadness. They spent the morning writing letters to Kate's parents, to William's family, to their closest friends, and to their young nephew, who wouldn't understand now but might want to read his aunt's words when he was older. Each letter was different, filled with specific memories and personal messages that only Kate could write. "Now I want to write one to you," Kate said when they had finished the others. "But this one is different. This one I want you to read after I'm gone. Not now." William's hand trembled slightly as he prepared to write Kate's final letter to him. He wondered what she would say, what words she would choose for their goodbye. "My dearest William," Kate began, her voice soft but steady. "If you're reading this, it means I'm no longer there to tell you these things in person. First, I want you to know that I love you more than words can express. You've been my everything for so many years." She paused, taking a shaky breath before continuing. "I know you're going to want to stay sad for a long time. That's okay. Be sad, miss me. Cry when you need to, but please, please don't stop living. I want you to laugh again, to find joy in small things, to maybe even love again someday." William's eyes filled with tears as he wrote, but he forced himself to keep going. Kate needed him to capture these words perfectly. "Remember our Tuesday morning walks in the park? Remember how we used to make pancakes on Sunday mornings and read the newspaper together? Remember the way we could talk for hours about everything and nothing? I want you to keep those memories close to your heart, but I don't want them to keep you from making new ones." Kate reached out and touched William's arm. "Are you okay? Do you need to stop?" William wiped his eyes and shook his head. "No, I want to finish this. What else do you want to say?" "Tell him," Kate continued, referring to herself in third person. "Now, tell him that I'll be watching over him somehow. I don't know how that works, but I believe love doesn't just disappear. Tell him to be kind to himself, to take care of his health, and to call Emma when he feels lonely." They finished the letter with Kate's instructions for William to live fully, to honor their love by continuing to love life itself. When William folded the letter and put it in an envelope with his name on it, Kate smiled with satisfaction. "Thank you," she whispered. That felt important. In the afternoon, Dr. Martinez came to check on Kate. William stepped outside to give them privacy, and when the doctor emerged, his expression was serious but kind. "How much time does she have?" William asked quietly. "It's hard to say exactly," Dr. Martinez replied. "Maybe a few days, maybe a week. Her body is shutting down gradually, but she's comfortable. We're making sure she has no pain." William nodded, grateful for the doctor's honesty. When he returned to Kate's room, she was looking out the window at the garden below. The autumn leaves were falling gently, creating a carpet of gold and red on the ground. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Kate said. "I always loved this time of year. Everything changing, but in such a beautiful way." William sat beside her and followed her gaze. "You've always seen beauty in everything, even difficult things." "That's because there is beauty in everything," Kate replied. "Even in this. Even in saying goodbye. We're so lucky to have this time together to say the things we need to say. Not everyone gets that chance." They spent the rest of the day talking quietly, sharing more memories, and simply enjoying each other's presence. Kate's strength was fading, but her spirit remained bright and loving until she fell asleep that evening, still holding William's hand. The third day brought a gentle rain that tapped softly against the hospital window. Kate woke up to the sound and smiled, remembering how she and William used to dance in the rain in their backyard. Those moments felt like a lifetime ago, yet also like yesterday. "Listen to the rain," Kate whispered to William, who was reading quietly in his chair. "Remember our rain dances?" William looked up from his book and listened. The soft patter against the glass brought back memories of Kate spinning in circles in their garden, her face turned up to the sky, completely free and joyful. "You always said rain was nature's way of washing the world clean for a fresh start." "I still believe that," Kate said, her voice weaker but still filled with the same gentle wisdom. "Maybe that's what's happening now. A washing clean, a fresh start, just in a different way than I expected." Dr. Martinez had adjusted Kate's medication the night before, and she was more comfortable now, though William could see she was getting more tired with each passing hour. She slept more frequently, but when she was awake she was fully present, as if she was storing up their conversations for whatever came next. "William, I want to tell you about my dreams," Kate said suddenly. "I've been having the most beautiful dreams. I dream about my grandmother, the one who died when I was 12. She's young again, and she's waiting for me in a garden full of flowers I've never seen before." William took her hand, which felt smaller and more fragile than ever. "Tell me more about the dreams." "In the dreams, I'm not sick anymore. I can run and dance and the sun is warm on my face. My grandmother tells me that love never really ends, it just changes form. She says that all the love we've shared with people stays with them forever, like invisible threads connecting hearts across any distance." The idea brought William some comfort, though he wasn't sure what he believed about what happens after death. What mattered was that these dreams seemed to bring Kate peace. Their friend Sarah visited that afternoon, bringing fresh flowers and a photo album she had put together of their group's adventures over the years. Kate's face lit up as they looked through the pictures together. "Look at this one," Sarah said, pointing to a photo of Kate and William at a friend's wedding 2 years earlier. "You two were dancing, and Kate, you had your head thrown back laughing at something William whispered in your ear." Kate studied the photo, her finger tracing the outline of their younger selves. "I remember that moment. William told me the worst joke I'd ever heard, but it was so bad it was funny. We laughed until we cried." "You were always laughing together," Sarah observed, tears in her eyes. "Even when things were difficult, you two could find something to laugh about." After Sarah left, Kate asked William to help her sit up higher in bed. She wanted to look out the window at the rain-washed garden below. The autumn flowers were still blooming despite the cool weather, their colors bright against the gray sky. "William, I need to ask you something important," Kate said, her tone serious. "Promise me you won't feel guilty about anything. Not about the times you had to work late. Not about the vacation we never took, not about anything. We had a beautiful life together, exactly the life we were meant to have." William felt a lump forming in his throat. "Kate, I keep thinking about all the things I should have done differently. All the time I wasted worrying about small problems." "Stop," Kate said firmly, with more strength than she had shown in days. "That's not how love works. Love isn't about being perfect. It's about being real with each other, supporting each other through both good times and hard times. We did that beautifully." She turned to look directly at him, her eyes still bright despite her physical weakness. "You've been the most wonderful husband. You've taken care of me, made me laugh, held me when I cried, and loved me exactly as I am. What more could anyone ask for?" The afternoon passed quietly. Kate dozed frequently, and William used the time to watch her sleep, memorizing the peaceful expression on her face. The nurses had told him that her breathing was becoming more labored, a sign that her body was preparing to let go. When Kate woke up near evening, she seemed different somehow, more distant but also more peaceful. "The rain has stopped," she observed, looking toward the window where late sunlight was breaking through the clouds. Yes, and look, William said, pointing outside. There's a rainbow. Kate smiled at the sight of the colorful arc stretching across the sky. How perfect. Rainbows after storms, beauty after difficulty. That's how life works, isn't it? They sat together watching the rainbow until it faded as the sun set. Kate ate a little dinner, though swallowing was becoming more difficult for her. William helped her with sips of water and made sure she was comfortable. I want to tell you one more thing, Kate said as the room grew darker. These have been the best days of my life, these last few days with you. Not because I'm dying, but because we've been so honest with each other, so present. We've said everything that needed to be said. William squeezed her hand gently. I love you, Kate. I will always love you. And I will always love you, Kate replied. No matter what happens, that will never change. As night fell, Kate grew more tired, but she fought sleep, wanting to stay awake with William. Finally, exhaustion won, and she drifted off holding his hand, a small smile on her lips as if she was dreaming of dancing in the rain once more. The fourth morning arrived with clear skies and gentle sunshine streaming through the hospital window. Kate woke up very slowly as if she was swimming up from deep, peaceful waters. When she opened her eyes, William was already awake, watching over her with the same loving attention he had shown for days. Good morning. Beautiful, William said softly, brushing a strand of hair away from her forehead. His voice was tender, but Kate could hear the exhaustion and worry underneath his gentle words. Kate tried to speak, but found her voice was barely a whisper now. Her throat felt dry and each word required effort. William, she managed to say, today feels different. William's heart tightened, but he kept his expression calm. He had noticed the change, too. Kate's breathing was shallower and her skin had taken on a different color. The nurses had prepared him for this stage, but knowing what to expect didn't make it easier. Different how? He asked, though he suspected he knew what she meant. Peaceful, Kate whispered, like I'm getting ready for a long journey. Not scary, just ready. Dr. Martinez arrived earlier than usual that morning. After examining Kate, he spoke quietly with William in the hallway. Her body is beginning to shut down, he explained gently. This could be her last day, or maybe she has another day or two. Every person is different. The important thing is that she's comfortable and not in pain. William nodded, grateful for the doctor's honest kindness. When he returned to Kate's room, she was looking at the small collection of photos on her bedside table. Pictures of their wedding day, family gatherings, and quiet moments together filled the small space. Help me look at them one more time, Kate requested weakly. William picked up each photo and held it where Kate could see it clearly. For their wedding picture, she smiled and whispered, You cried when you saw me walking down the aisle. I was so happy that day. I cried because I couldn't believe someone as wonderful as you was choosing to spend her life with me, William replied, his own eyes growing moist at the memory. When he showed her a picture from their last vacation together, Kate's face lit up with a faint smile. The beach house. We slept late every morning and walked on the sand every evening. You found that perfect shell for me. I still have it, William said. It's on your dresser at home right where you left it. Kate's energy came and went in waves throughout the day. Sometimes she would be alert and talkative for a few minutes, and other times she would drift into a light sleep. During her wakeful moments, she continued to share memories and express her love for William and their life together. I want you to know something, Kate said during one of her clearer moments in the afternoon. I'm not leaving you, not really. Every time you see a rainbow or hear our favorite song or smell the roses in our garden, I'll be there. Love doesn't die, William. It just changes form. Emma, Kate's sister, arrived that afternoon. She had been staying at a nearby hotel, visiting every day but giving William and Kate space for their private goodbye. When she saw Kate, Emma tried to hide her shock at how much weaker her sister had become overnight. Emma, Kate whispered, reaching out her hand. I'm so glad you're here. Emma took her sister's hand and sat on the other side of the bed from William. I brought you something, she said, pulling out a small music box that had belonged to their grandmother. When she wound it up, it played a gentle lullaby. Grandma's music box, Kate breathed, her eyes lighting up with recognition. She used to play it for us when we had trouble sleeping. The three of them sat quietly listening to the simple melody. Kate closed her eyes and seemed to be transported back to childhood, when the biggest worry was whether it might rain on a planned picnic. Emma, Kate said when the music stopped, take care of William for me. Make sure he doesn't forget to eat and make sure he doesn't stay sad forever. He needs to live. Emma wiped away tears and nodded. I promise, Kate, but you have to promise me something too. Promise me you'll rest now. You've fought so hard for so long. It's okay to let go. Kate squeezed both William's and Emma's hands as strongly as she could manage. I promise. I'm ready to rest. As evening approached, Kate became less responsive, though the nurses assured William and Emma that she could still hear them. They took turns talking to her, sharing favorite memories, expressing their love and telling her it was okay to go when she was ready. William leaned close to Kate's ear as the sun began to set. Kate, my love, thank you for the most beautiful 15 years of my life. Thank you for teaching me what real love looks like. I promise I'll take care of myself, and I promise I'll remember to look for you in rainbows and roses and all the beautiful things in the world. Kate's breathing had become very slow and peaceful. Her face looked serene, as if she was already beginning to drift toward whatever came next. William held her hand and continued to whisper words of love and gratitude, wanting her to carry his voice with her wherever she was going. The room filled with a profound sense of peace as night fell. Kate was surrounded by love, comfort, and the promise that she would never be forgotten. Though her journey was ending, the love she had shared would continue to live in the hearts of everyone who had been touched by her gentle, joyful spirit. The 5th day began in the quiet hours before dawn, when the hospital was at its most peaceful. Kate's breathing had become very shallow and slow throughout the night, and William had not left her side. Emma had fallen asleep in the chair by the window, exhausted from days of emotional strain. William watched Kate's face in the soft light from the hallway. Even in her unconscious state, she looked peaceful, as if she was having pleasant dreams. Her hand was still warm in his, though her grip had loosened. The nurses had told him that hearing was often the last sense to fade, so he continued to speak to her in gentle whispers. Kate, it's almost morning, he said softly. The sun will be up soon. You always loved watching the sun rise from our bedroom window. Remember how you used to wake me up early on weekends just to see the sky change colors? Though Kate didn't open her eyes, William thought he saw the faintest smile cross her lips, as if somewhere in her dreams she was remembering those peaceful morning moments together. Dr. Martinez checked on Kate around 6 in the morning. He listened to her heart and breathing, then spoke quietly with William outside the room. It won't be much longer now, he said gently. Her body is shutting down peacefully. This is exactly how we hope these transitions happen, surrounded by love without pain or distress. William nodded, grateful that Kate wasn't suffering, even though his own heart felt like it was breaking. When he returned to her bedside, Emma was awake, holding Kate's other hand. How are you holding up? Emma asked William, concerned about his pallor and the exhaustion written across his face. I'm okay, William replied, though they both knew that wasn't entirely true. I just want to be here with her until the end. She shouldn't be alone. She's not alone, Emma assured him. She's surrounded by so much love. Can you feel it? It's like the whole room is filled with all the love she's given and received throughout her life. As the morning progressed, other family members and close friends came to say their final goodbyes. Kate's parents arrived from out of town, having driven through the night. Her father, usually a man of few words, sat beside her bed and told her stories about when she was a little girl, his voice breaking with emotion. You were always such a happy child, he said, stroking her hair. Always seeing the good in everything, always making other people smile. You haven't changed a bit, sweetheart. You're still bringing joy to everyone around you even now. Kate's mother held her daughter's hand and sang softly, the same lullabies she had sung when Kate was small. Her voice was shaky with tears, but the love in every note was clear and strong. Their closest friends came throughout the morning, each bringing their own memories and expressions of love. The room felt full of warmth despite the sadness of the occasion. Everyone who came seemed to understand that this was not just about saying goodbye, but about celebrating a life well lived and a person who had touched many hearts. Around midday, Kate's breathing became even more labored. The spaces between each breath grew longer, and William could sense that the end was very near. He asked everyone except Emma to give them some private time for their final moments together. Kate, William whispered, leaning close to her ear, I can see that you're getting ready to go. I want you to know that it's okay. I'm going to be okay. Emma will help me, and I'll carry your love with me always. He paused, struggling to find the right words for this most important goodbye. You've taught me so much about how to love, how to live, how to find joy in simple things. I promise I'll remember everything you've taught me. I promise I'll live a good life. The kind of life that would make you proud. Kate's breathing became very faint, so quiet that William had to lean close to hear it. Emma moved to stand beside him, and together they created a circle of love around Kate in her final moments. We love you, Kate, Emma whispered. We love you so much, and we're going to miss you terribly, but we want you to be free from pain. Go peacefully, knowing that you are deeply, completely loved. The afternoon sun streamed through the window, casting a warm golden light across Kate's face. In that beautiful light, with William holding one hand and Emma holding the other, Kate took her last gentle breath. The transition was so peaceful, so natural, that for a moment William wasn't sure she had actually gone. But then the profound stillness in the room told him that Kate's journey was complete. Her face looked incredibly peaceful, younger somehow, as if all the pain and worry of the past months had been lifted away. She looked like she was simply sleeping, finally able to rest after fighting for so long. William leaned down and kissed Kate's forehead one last time. Thank you for everything, my love, he whispered. Thank you for choosing me, for loving me, for making my life so much more beautiful than I ever thought it could be. Emma wrapped her arms around William as they both cried, grieving the loss of someone who had been such a bright light in their lives. But even through their tears, they felt grateful that Kate's suffering was over, and that she had been able to leave this world surrounded by love and peace. The nurses came quietly to help with the next steps, treating Kate's body with the same dignity and respect they had shown throughout her stay. They gave William and Emma time to say their final goodbyes before beginning the process of letting other family members know that Kate's journey had ended. The days following Kate's peaceful passing felt like moving through a strange, quiet world. William found himself going through the motions of life while feeling completely disconnected from everything around him. Emma stayed with him, helping with the funeral arrangements and making sure he ate and slept. Though both activities felt pointless to him now, the house they had shared felt enormous and empty without Kate's laughter filling the rooms. Her coffee cup still sat by the kitchen sink where she had left it before her last trip to the hospital. Her book was still open on the nightstand, marked at the page she would never finish reading. William couldn't bring himself to move any of her things yet. Emma found him one morning sitting in Kate's favorite chair by the window, holding the letter Kate had dictated for him. Have you read it yet? She asked gently. William shook his head. I'm not ready. What if reading it makes everything final? What if it's really goodbye? William, Emma said, sitting down across from him. Kate is gone. Reading the letter won't make that more true than it already is, but it might help you understand what she wanted for you. That afternoon, alone in the house, William finally opened the envelope with shaking hands. Kate's words, written in his own handwriting but filled with her voice, seemed to speak directly to his breaking heart. As he read about Kate's wish for him to live fully, to find joy again, and to remember their love as something beautiful rather than something lost, William felt a shift in his understanding of grief. Kate hadn't written the letter to say goodbye forever. She had written it to remind him that love doesn't end with death. The funeral was held on a crisp autumn day, exactly the kind of weather Kate had always loved. The church was filled with people whose lives she had touched, colleagues from her job at the library, neighbors she had befriended, former students she had tutored, and family members from both sides. William was amazed by the stories people shared. Kate's coworker talked about how Kate had organized a surprise birthday party for the janitor when she discovered he had never had one. A neighbor described how Kate had brought soup every week when her husband was recovering from surgery. A former student, now a grown woman, explained how Kate's patient tutoring had helped her overcome her fear of reading. I never knew Kate did all these things, William whispered to Emma during the service. She never told me about most of these acts of kindness. That was Kate, Emma replied with a sad smile. She did good things because it was who she was, not because she wanted recognition for them. The pastor, who had known Kate since she was a child, spoke about her infectious joy and her ability to see beauty in ordinary moments. Kate lived her life like someone who understood that every day was a gift, he said. She didn't wait for special occasions to be kind, to love deeply, or to appreciate the world around her. After the service, people gathered at William and Kate's house for a meal. Emma had organized everything, knowing that William wasn't capable of making decisions about food and flowers and guest lists. The house filled with conversation and laughter as people shared memories of Kate. William found himself in the garden, seeking quiet away from the crowd. Kate's autumn flowers were still blooming, their bright colors a stark contrast to the sadness in his heart. He was startled when Kate's father joined him on the garden bench. "She loved this garden," Kate's father said, looking at the carefully tended flower beds. "Every time we visited, she would walk us through and tell us about each plant. When she had planted it, why she had chosen that particular spot." William nodded, remembering Kate kneeling in the dirt, her hands covered in soil, her face bright with enthusiasm as she planned where each flower should go. She said gardens were proof that beautiful things could grow from dark places. "That sounds like Kate," her father replied. "William, I want you to know that Kate's mother and I couldn't have asked for a better husband for our daughter. You made her so happy. Even at the end when she was so sick, she talked about you with such love and gratitude." The conversation with Kate's father helped William realize that his grief, while overwhelming, was also a testament to the depth of love he and Kate had shared. The pain he felt was proportional to the joy she had brought to his life. As the guests gradually left and the house grew quiet again, William walked through the rooms, seeing them differently now. Instead of empty spaces where Kate used to be, he began to see places where beautiful memories lived. The kitchen where they had cooked together, the living room where they had spent countless evenings reading and talking, the bedroom where they had shared their dreams and fears. That night, Emma helped William begin the difficult task of going through Kate's belongings. They worked slowly, with Emma sensitive to William's need to touch each item, to remember the stories attached to Kate's clothes, books, and personal treasures. In Kate's jewelry box, they found a small note tucked behind her grandmother's ring. In Kate's handwriting it read, "For William, wear this when you want to feel close to me. Love, Kay." "She must have written this when she first got sick," Emma said, watching William hold the delicate ring. "She was thinking about you even then, planning ways to comfort you after she was gone." William slipped the ring onto his pinky finger, the only finger small enough for the delicate band. Immediately he felt a sense of connection to Kate, as if she had found a way to hold his hand one more time. As Emma prepared to leave that evening, she hugged William tightly.
"Kate made me promise to take care of you," she said.
"I'm going to call you every day and I'm going to come visit every week until you're ready to take care of yourself again." "Thank you," William replied, grateful for the lifeline Emma was offering. "I don't know how to do this, how to live without her." "One day at a time," Emma advised. "Some days will be harder than others, but Kate's love is still with you. Let that love guide you toward healing." 6 months after Kate's passing, William was slowly learning how to live with grief as a constant companion. Some days were easier than others, but he had discovered that healing wasn't about forgetting Kate or stopping his sadness. Instead, it was about finding ways to carry her love with him as he rebuilt his life. Emma had kept her promise to check on him regularly. She had helped him establish new routines, encouraged him to eat proper meals, and gently pushed him to rejoin the world when he was ready. She never tried to rush his grieving process, but she also didn't let him disappear completely into his sorrow. The turning point came on a spring morning when William was working in Kate's garden. He had maintained it throughout the winter, finding comfort in the physical work and the connection to Kate's passion for growing things. As he knelt among the emerging tulips and daffodils, he realized he was actually enjoying the warmth of the sun on his back and the smell of fresh earth. She was right about gardens, he said aloud to Kate, a habit he had developed of talking to her when he was alone. Beautiful things really can grow from dark places. That afternoon, William did something he hadn't done since Kate's death. He invited his neighbor, an elderly man named Frank who Kate had been fond of, to come over for coffee. Frank had been quietly supportive during William's hardest months, shoveling his walkway after snowstorms and bringing his mail to the door when William couldn't face leaving the house. "Kate always said you made the best coffee in the neighborhood," Frank said as they sat on the back porch overlooking the garden. "She was right. This is exactly what I needed today." They talked about Kate's garden, about the changes in the neighborhood, and about small, ordinary things that felt surprisingly comforting to William. He realized he had missed simple human connection, the kind of easy conversation that Kate had always encouraged him to appreciate. That evening, William opened Kate's letter again, reading it for perhaps the 20th time since her death. But this time, instead of focusing on the sadness of her goodbye, he found himself hearing her voice encouraging him to live. Her words about finding joy in small things and being open to new love someday seemed less impossible than they had 6 months ago. The next week, William surprised Emma by calling to ask if she wanted to go to the farmer's market together. Kate had loved the Saturday market, and William had avoided it completely since her death, afraid it would be too painful. "Are you sure you're ready for that?" Emma asked, concerned but hopeful. "No," William admitted. "But Kate wrote that I should stop waiting to feel ready and just start doing things that might help me heal." The farmer's market was both harder and easier than William had expected. Yes, he remembered shopping there with Kate, remembered her delight in finding the perfect tomatoes or discovering a new vendor selling homemade jam. But he also found himself enjoying the bustle of activity, the friendly vendors, and the simple pleasure of choosing fresh food for himself. At the flower stand, where Kate had always bought bouquets for their dining table, the vendor recognized William. "I was so sorry to hear about Kate," the woman said kindly. "She was one of my favorite customers. She always knew exactly which flowers would make people smile." Instead of walking away in tears as he might have months earlier, William found himself sharing a memory of Kate arranging flowers in their kitchen, humming as she worked. The conversation felt healing rather than painful. Summer arrived with a gentle warmth that reminded William of happier times. He began taking evening walks through the neighborhood, routes he and Kate had enjoyed together. Instead of avoiding the memories, he found himself welcoming them, grateful for the years of happiness they represented. One evening, as he was walking past the park where he and Kate had often sat on a bench to watch the sunset, William noticed a young couple feeding ducks by the pond. The woman was laughing at something her partner had said, and the sound reminded William so strongly of Kate's laughter that he had to sit down. But instead of overwhelming sadness, William felt a complex mixture of grief and gratitude. He missed Kate terribly, but he was also thankful for having experienced a love so deep that its loss could affect him so profoundly. Kate had been right in her letter. The pain was proof of how beautiful their life together had been. As autumn approached, marking the first anniversary of Kate's death, William made a decision that would have seemed impossible months earlier. He decided to have a celebration of Kate's life in their garden, inviting everyone who had loved her to share memories and plant flowers in her honor. The gathering was smaller than Kate's funeral, but filled with even more warmth and laughter. People brought photos, told stories, and planted bulbs that would bloom the following spring. William felt Kate's presence strongly that day, not as an absence but as a continuing influence on all the lives she had touched. Emma found William that evening sitting by Kate's memorial stone in the garden, watching the stars appear in the darkening sky. "How are you feeling?" she asked, sitting beside him on the garden bench. "Different," William replied thoughtfully. "I'm still sad and I still miss her every day, but I'm also grateful. Grateful for the 15 years we had, grateful for the love we shared, grateful for the way she taught me to see beauty in ordinary things." He touched Kate's grandmother's ring on his finger, a gesture that had become automatic over the months. "I think I'm finally beginning to understand what she meant about love not ending. She's not here, but the love we shared is still changing me, still guiding me, still making me want to be the kind of person she believed I could be." As if in response to his words, a shooting star streaked across the clear night sky. William smiled, remembering Kate's belief that the universe had a way of offering small signs of hope when people needed them most. "Thank you, Kate," he whispered to the stars. "Thank you for teaching me that love is stronger than loss, that beauty can grow from sorrow, and that a life well lived leaves ripples of goodness that continue long after we're gone." William sat in the garden until late that night, feeling more at peace than he had since Kate's death. He knew there would still be difficult days ahead, but he also knew that he was ready to honor Kate's memory by continuing to live, love, and find joy in the precious ordinariness of each new day.